Hey everyone, FilmConvert here, and the new Blackmagic Pyxis 6K just arrived. So in this video I want to share my initial impressions on the camera, especially around the body and design itself, but also I want to talk about battery life, and I also want to compare it briefly to my cinema camera 6K, and also tell you why I'm personally excited by the Pyxis. I'll also talk about some of the accessories that I have, including the Cine EVF and a cage. I'm sure you've got loads of questions about the Pyxis, so feel free to comment below. I'm happy for this video to become some sort of like forum for the Pyxis, and I'll do my best to answer in the comments or in the next videos. And if you don't know who I am, I'm a French-Australian filmmaker, and I do a lot of documentaries and outdoor content, and of course I also post a lot of gear-related and filmmaking-related video here on YouTube. And be sure to subscribe, of course, because I will do a lot more content around the Pyxis, including rigging videos, comparison videos, reviews, and also actual shoots. Now let's get into it. So I've had the camera for about a day now, so I want to share my initial impressions around the body and the design while it's fresh. It's been a long time since Blackmagic introduced a completely new design and form factor. And for those who don't know, this basically sits between the pocket line or the pocket shape, including the Cinema Camera 6K and the Ursa line. People have been asking Blackmagic for years now for a box style camera, so they could rig it and customize it, and I think this is it. I think the Pyxis would have been such a good camera to have on my latest documentaries, especially the 90-year-old cyclist, since we've had loads of different setups and some of them were pretty full on. I won't go too much into the internals or the image of the camera, because this is essentially the same sensor and specs as the Cinema Camera 6K. So first of all, when you pick the camera, you can definitely feel the weight and the quality of it. And it's funny, this is actually the first one that I've held because I didn't go to NAB or IBC. And from the photos, I thought that it would be bigger and lighter, and it's actually smaller than I thought and heavier, which is a good thing. I kind of like how dense and solid it feels. And you also get that cold metal when you touch it, which I kind of like because it really feels sturdy and it shows the quality. So to me, this really feels like a small Ursa rather than a bigger BMPCC 6K or 4K or even the Cinema Camera 6K. This definitely feels like a step up in quality when you compare it to the Pocket Line or the Cinema Camera 6K. I think this is probably the best quality that I've experienced from any camera from Blackmagic, and I've owned pretty much all of them. So this is a really, really good thing. I will definitely make a comparison video between the Pyxis and my Cinema Camera 6K as well as the 6K Pro. And even the mount and all the button and the wheel, like everything feels so tight and solidly built. And just so you know, this is the L version. It makes more sense for me to get this one because I already have the Cinema Camera 6K and I intend to use them both on shoot together. Probably this one as A cam and the other one as B cam. So I already have adapters and everything ready. So all the connections are at the back, and this is where it really differs from the Pocket Line. You have different battery type, 2 media slots, but also SDI and an Ethernet port. And on the side, you've got all the buttons that are laid out and the small scroll wheel as well, and this is what reminds me of the Ursa. And of course, you have that screen. I know that the screen has been a huge talking point, probably the main talking point about this camera when it was announced, because it was fixed. Personally, that was never an issue for me, because the way this camera is meant to be used, the way I see it, it's meant to be rigged. So to me, I would have put a monitor anywhere, regardless of if the screen was, tiltable or if you would come on the side like the Ursa. So for me, I would have put a monitor anyway. And now that I've released the new Pyxis 5-inch monitor, I think it's pretty much perfect, and that would probably solve all the issues and complaints that people had about the screen. And to be honest, I'm actually happy to have a screen at all, and one that it's that large and that clear. I do have a 7-inch Small HD monitor that I will use with this one anyway, and I intended to actually get a 5-inch monitor because I think 5-inch is a great size when you start having to put things around or change the monitor from the side or the top on the other side. So I think 5-inch is a bit more friendly in terms of rigging than 7. And when you think about the other brands and their proprietary monitors, the Pyxis monitor probably has to be the best value out there. And on the other side, you've got more mounting points, and of course you've got the customizable side plate. I've got the SSD one. I intend to get the rosette one because I like the idea of attaching my DJI Focus Pro handle on the side. I think this is a really nice touch. And also you've got a lot of mounting points at the top, but also at the bottom, which brings me to my next point, accessories. So I also got the new Cine EVF, and I will get my hands on the top handle very soon as well, and of course the Pyxis monitor. The new EVF feels super solid and very well made. And the EVF connects directly to the Pyxis using the viewfinder port at the front. As you can see, you also have a lot of buttons and functions at the top, and it even includes a record button, which I think is pretty neat. I think shooting wildlife or landscapes with an EVF is always a great experience, and it reminds me again of how I used to use the Ursa. With EVF, you also get a variety of mounting accessories such as rods, the rotating bracket, 3 lengths of USB-C cables with locking connectors, and an extension arm if you want to use it on a dolly or something else. The whole kit feels very premium. Once I get the Blackmagic top handle, I'll make sure to use it and test it properly. So in addition to the EVF, in terms of accessories, I also have this cage from Excelsius Designs. They were kind enough to send me a couple of prototypes, including a few accessories. And of course the Pyxis can definitely be used as is. It's got heaps of mounting points, it's also pretty rugged, but I know that for my type of work I'll probably end up having to rig the thing pretty heavily with bigger monitors, battery packs, the DJI Focus Pro. I'll be using, you know, like different like cinema lenses and cinema zooms. I'll also be using my Easy Rig and gimbals. So I like the idea of having a cage because it gives you more options. And also, for example, it might sound silly, but I like to use the DJI Focus Pro handle on the left side so I can pull focus with my left hand because it feels more comfortable. And I can definitely do this with the cage just by having, you know, like the mounting options here. Because obviously the camera on that side has a screen and the function buttons. And not to mention the fact that I do travel quite a bit in different and various environments, so having a cage just for protection is also very welcomed. But for me, the thing that got me interested in the first place was the fact that you can actually use rods without the need of a base plate. This is huge for me because I really don't like using base plates. Obviously, sometimes I have to, but this is great because it mounts directly onto the camera at the back and the front as well, obviously. And also what they've done is that they've put the same mounting points at the top, so you can actually use the Blackmagic accessories like the top handle or the EVF with the cage, and this is another huge plus. This one was actually recommended to me by someone in a forum, so I'm really keen so far in terms of the quality and the accessories, and I'm really looking forward to using it with the camera, of course. And of course, as always, I'll link everything in the description below, including the cage and all the accessories and adapters that I use with my cinema camera 6K that will go on the Pyxis as well. I will definitely make a rigging focused video about the Pyxis because I think it's an important topic and one of the strengths of the camera. So let me know if you've got any questions. I'll definitely try to build different kits for different projects that I would personally use. So for example, like documentaries or outdoor content and things like that. Now I want to talk about batteries briefly as well. I decided to get 2 BPU ones, 135 and 170 from Sony. Just because I like to use internal batteries. I do that a lot with the Pocket Line and the Cinema Camera 6K because I don't like to use battery packs all the time, especially for run and gun or handheld shooting. And I also got a Sweet double charger. These batteries are definitely bigger and heavier and more expensive than MPF ones from the Pocket Line or the Pocket Shape. But they're definitely smaller than Vlog batteries. I did a quick test where I just left the camera on recording in OpenGate 12:1 B-RAW at 24 frames per second, I think, and this is what I got. So with the 35, as you can see, I nearly got 1 hour, so 53 minutes, which is pretty good, and obviously it's not real world outside condition, so this means we should get close to 2 hours with the 70 and even more with the 90. On top of that, I also got a D-Tab to LEMO cable so I can use my vlogs for longer shoots. And again, as always, I will link all of that in the description below. So I've been shooting with Blackmagic cameras for more than 10 years now, and I shoot documentaries and outdoor content, but I also test a lot of cinema lenses and filmmaking gear in general. So the Pyxis is definitely a camera that I want to use and implement into my workflow, especially because I love the sensor from the Cinema Camera 6K, this sensor, so much, and I'm really liking the image and the colors and the aspect ratios, and this is essentially the sensor that I've been using for the past year. I think for me, having a modular system like the Pyxis allows you to kind of tailor the rig to the project a lot easier than it would be possible with the Pocket Line or the Pocket Shape. I can definitely add accessories, also remove some accessories, depending on the shoot and depending on the location and projects that I'm filming. And I think as soon as I get my hands on the top handle and of course the Pyxis monitor, it will make for a pretty serious, complete and versatile kit, especially for the features you get and the size. Like I was saying, I can definitely see myself using this one as an A-cam for pretty much all of my documentary work. and keep the cinema camera 6K as a big cam, but also as a run and gun or outdoor cam, or when I need to shoot with a very, very minimal rig just with a camera and a lens, for example. This feels crazy that the camera is actually here. I feel like I've been looking at the Blackmagic page for like months, like everyone. And I can't wait to start using it properly and of course implementing it in my workflow. As I said, be sure to subscribe as I will do a lot more content around the Pyxis, including the rigging videos that I mentioned, but also a comparison to the 6K, the 6K Pro, and also test footage and other reviews. That's it for me for today, guys, and like I said, feel free to let me know if you've got any questions. I'm sure you do, and I'll do my best to answer them in the comments or in the next videos. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.